Hola Comadres, welcome to another episode of Comadreando podcast. I'm your host Marcy, and today we have a solo episode. There's been a lot of things going on, and I want to catch you all up on what's happening, and also, just kind of shoot the shit and not get reacquainted, but just catch you guys up. Anywho, I hope all is well and that all of your families are doing great. I know summer is off to quite a start. I'm recording today, it's Sunday before the episode drops, and it's been pretty cloudy the whole weekend. It just started to rain. I was actually supposed to attend an event with Melanie Santos, but because of the weather, I decided not to go. Also, the trains are bugging out as usual. That's not weird for the MTA. However, people are making the best that they can out of a situation. Anywho, I'm trying a new setup, so I'm recording on GarageBand, and I am using my iPhone camera in photo booth to record the video. So let me know what you think, but I personally think that the video quality is way better for those of you that watch the YouTube channel itself. So, what's been happening with your comadre? So we've been having a lot of family events, and one of the main ones that have happened are my brother's wedding, Lenning, the little one. So that's what made me pick the topic for today, which is making events inclusive and sensory friendly for our loved ones with special needs. And the reason why the topic came up is that summertime means many different events that we participate in with our children and loved ones that have special needs. So some of those events that come up are weddings, graduations, award ceremonies, holidays like the 4th of July. So we're going to be talking about how to prepare your loved ones for these important events in advance. So before we get into the topic, we're going to talk about all the stuff that has happened since the last episode dropped. So basically, we had the end of the school year. Yeah. So the end of the school year was interesting. I reconnected with my people from the school that I used to teach at before. I actually attended their end of the year event. I did go to the end of the year event with the school I'm currently teaching at. Yeah, I had kind of it wasn't an altercation per se, but this school has been kind of like messing with me since like last year. So the way that I came into the school was that I was recommended by somebody. That person eventually got on their bad side, and as a repercussion of that, they have been kind of treating me like the stepchild at the school. And I know people are going to be like, well, Marcia, it can't just be you. No, but it's noticeable. And I know we've discussed this on the show before, but there are certain schools, particularly in the Washington Heights area, that cater more to people that are other. And not other like black and brown people, but other. So those people get preferential treatment. They are listened to. When they complain about something, things are taken care of right away. However, when people of color complain or voice their concerns, things are not taken into account as seriously as those people. And I'm not talking out of, my armpit. It's literally proven, and if I bring on the other teachers that I have had on the show, they will be able to tell you pretty much the same thing. So yeah, I feel like I've been being treated like a stepchild, and basically I'm going to be back in the classroom next year, which, whatever, I don't really care. However, the way that they're going about it is a little sneaky. So I had to kind of rein it in and kind of stand my ground and let them know that I will not be pushed around, nor will I be intimidated, because I've been teaching way too long. I also have a mom that is part of the Department of Education. Not that, I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with my career. However, I do know how things work, and I'm not going to be intimidated by somebody that has less experience than I do, and also doesn't really care about the kids. So yeah, that was the end of the school year for me. So I am looking for other schools to teach at. So if you know of a school, it doesn't matter if it's charter, private, or whatever, let me know. I'll send in my resume. Yeah, so that is that, and I will keep you guys posted when I find another school to teach at. Yeah, okay, let's take a woosah for that. I don't like talking about negative things, but it's necessary sometimes. Like, I'm not going to be one of these people that is just going to be like scared of what they have to say or whatever, because that's just not going to happen. Anywho, so my brother's wedding, you guys know we've been planning it for quite a while now. So a whole bunch of stuff happened, like, leading up to the wedding. Not necessarily with the wedding itself. Well, some things dealing with the wedding, but other things not. So I didn't really talk about it. But like 3 months before the wedding, it was set to happen. The venue where we were going to hold the wedding decided to cancel last minute. So they had to scramble to find another venue to hold the wedding at. Which, in the moment, like when it happened, we felt kind of like overwhelmed, all of us. And also, it was very shady the way that it happened. They kind of sent like a general email to all the couples that they were hosting weddings for the season, for summer, and said, we will no longer be able to host your wedding. And then the email went on to say that they were they were thinking about it, but they will be able to return their refund. First of all, that's illegal. You signed a contract. It's not that the couple is backing out. It's you guys that are not providing the service, so they have to give back the refund. So them saying that was kind of like shady in and of itself. But when they sent the email, they immediately took down the website. They took down the Instagram and all, like, everything else. So that made us panic. But since they said that they were gonna refund, like, we didn't do anything like legally. We didn't look for a lawyer or anything like that. So we like kept it calm, whatever. In the meanwhile, my brother's so good at handling these kind of situations. I know he freaked out in the moment, but he didn't show it. And they were able to find another venue, which was beautiful. They decided to have their wedding in Pennsylvania since they just love PA. I don't know. I mean, PA is nice, but it's just like a place that they really adore. So they usually do weekends in Philly and all of that. So they decided to find another. Since all their vendors were already in Pennsylvania, they decided just to find another venue in PA to host a wedding at. So after much research, they found this beautiful spot called the Pocono Palms, which I highly recommend. The team there is, like, their customer service is top tier. The team is on it. Like, they're so welcoming to the other vendors. They, everything is sourced locally, which I think that's what my brother and my sister-in-law really wanted. Besides that, they had hold on, I'm gonna well, her name's Carrie. She was the wedding coordinator, and she is amazing. Like, she was so welcoming to all of us. When I let her know that Aiden had autism, I think they let her know beforehand, but when she like met him and got to know him, she was like super accommodating, making sure that he was feeling okay, giving him breaks when he needed. Aiden was just, he behaved so well. And it wasn't that I was expecting him not to, it's just that a wedding is a big thing and it's a lot of people. And there's a lot of expectations of behavior that are had not only by the people that are having the wedding, but everybody else that's there. But everybody was so accepting of Aiden's differences that it just made him feel so comfortable. So we're going to get into how we made him feel and prepare for the wedding. So yeah, so I'm going to give you guys her Instagram handle right now. Okay. So yeah, it's KE Coordination. And she is amazing. She is located in Pennsylvania, and she is just like, her vision, she really helps the couple get their vision off the ground. We also worked with Love and Night Studio, Pennsylvania, which is the photographers. The photographers were also super accommodating. They were making sure that they had like a shot list of everybody that needed to participate in certain things, and they let us know ahead of time. So the name of the photographers are Ilona and Urek, and they're a husband and wife wedding team. They are, first of all, Ilona has this eye for like setting up shots. She'll direct you exactly like how you need to be so that the wedding pictures are top tier. So yeah, so those are the people that we worked with. There was also like a bartending what is it, not caterer, like a bartending service. They were great too. I'm sober, so I didn't really participate, but they were attentive in the sense that they were aware that I was sober, so they were making sure that whenever they sent me over something to drink, it wasn't, obviously didn't have alcohol in it. What else? And then the food was really good. They were working with this what is it called, Frogtown? Yeah, it's called Frogtown Chop House. Yeah, the Frogtown Chop House. They were the caterer for the event, and they are amazing. Like, they had all these yummy, like, obviously my brother and sister-in-law picked the things that were going to be part of the menu, but they made sure that they made it like it was like little new things that Aiden was trying, and he actually tried everything. So he had waffles with chicken and waffles. He had this thing surprised me. He had these little spring rolls, veggie spring rolls, and I was just like, my eyes were like, if you guys are looking at the YouTube video, but my eyes were like wide, and I'm like watching him as he's eating it, and then he's asking for more, and I'm like, who are you and what do you do with my child? They did not have rice and chicken at the wedding, but they did have chicken. Like, they have multiple different proteins, so he was able to pick the one that he wanted to eat. He eventually settled on barbecue chicken, and they also had a baked potato. What I liked about Frogtown Chop House is that they had like family style, so they brought us platters of everything, right, for the table, and then we would serve but serve ourselves from the platter, depending on what we wanted to eat. So yeah, like, everybody, like, Aiden ate a lot, and he actually was very adventurous with the things that were served there. So there was no meltdown, there was no crying or like being upset about that. He did pretty well. So anyway, let me start from the beginning of how we got him ready for the ceremony. So basically what I did, I want to say 6 months before, I started mentioning that his uncle and his titi were going to be getting married. So 6 months before, I didn't mention it every day, but like I would mention it once in a while to just remind him. Then once he started seeing that spring was coming, he did not participate in the bridal shower or like the bachelor stuff, because obviously that's for adults. But when I went to the bachelorette, I let him know. I was like, Nino, remember, I'm going to Titi's bridal shower and that they're going to get married next month. So that was another reminder for him. Then once it started getting warmer, summer started getting closer, he kept reminding me like, oh, okay, it's May. What month is next month? And I'm like, oh, it's June. And he's like, and what's happening in June? And then I was like, he's like, oh, we're going on vacation. I was like, yeah, we're going to be on vacation, but also what's happening? Who's getting married? He's like, oh, Uncle Lenny and Titi Joel are getting married. So it was kind of like a reminder for him. So I want to say like every weekend, like Sunday to Monday, he would ask me the same question just to like prepare himself for the event. As the event got closer, I involved him in ordering the suit. So, I showed him, I was like, look, your uncle's going to be wearing this color suit. Your other uncle, Albert, is going to be wearing this color suit. Which suit color do you prefer? He decided to dress like the groomsmen. So even though he didn't go to Indochino, because I wasn't paying $500 for a suit for him, because he's a man size. It wasn't going to be like a baby suit. It was going to be like a men's size suit. And he's growing, so I didn't feel like making that type of investment at the moment would have made sense financially, especially if he's going to wear it once and then we're not going to wear it again for a while, So I decided to get the same exact color, but I looked for more affordable options. And I actually got the suit from H&M, which is where I got his suit for graduation last year for when he graduated from junior high school. So that suit that he wore last year, it wasn't powder blue. What was that? That was kind of like, it looked like a denim color, but it really wasn't. So it was like a denim color suit that I got him last year. It was a linen suit from H&M. I decided to go with linen because it's a breathable material, and we know our homeboy loves to wear comfortable clothes. So I made sure that I got a breathable material that wasn't going to feel so restricted on his body. And we know how linen works, that after you're wearing it for a while, it kind of just adjusts to your body and gets a little bit bigger as you're wearing it throughout the night. So I involved him in the picking process. I showed him the different types of shirts. I kind of showed him like what the guys were wearing, and then I showed him like his options of what he wanted to wear. So I gave him the option. I don't think they call it Mandarin color anymore. So I apologize if that's offensive, but it's a tab collar button down shirt, as opposed to a typical classic, suit shirt. So he went with the classic suit shirt. Additionally, I ordered him a t-shirt because we know he likes to be comfortable. So I figured like after pictures and the ceremony itself, if he got hot or like got uncomfortable, then I was going to go ahead and put him in a t-shirt. So that was like me thinking preemptively, knowing how he would react to that. So we did that. We ordered everything. The suit I ordered, actually, I went one size up from the one I got him last year. And when I got it, it was like way too tight. So I had to like send it back and reorder the suit. And that came on time, thank God. However, it did come like right on time, like right the weekend before the wedding. So I had to like take it to the tailor that I have. Shout out to 181 Corner Cleaners on 181st. I've been working with her for years. She is a phenomenal tailor. I had already sent my dress to be hemmed there. It had already like 2 or 3 weeks there, but I did let her know that Aiden's suit would be coming and that I would need her to do the alterations last minute because they sent me we ordered the wrong size, and we finally had the right size. So I sent him with his respite worker. Shout out to Mr. Robert. So they went together. He tried on the suit. I told him that he needed to get the suit fixed so that he can look nice and sharp for the wedding. He was completely on board. He took the bus there with him, and he kept talking about oh, what's happening next week? Okay, it's the wedding. So he didn't understand the concept of the tailor. So when he had to leave the suit there, he had kind of, not a meltdown, but he kind of objected to the fact. He's like, oh no, where's my suit? I need my suit. I need my suit back. And then the respite worker had to talk to him about, hey, they're just holding it for us and they're going to fix it so that it can be perfect for the wedding. We'll pick it up right before we leave. So then that made him a little bit more calm about it. So I reached out to his speech provider at school, and I asked them to help him write a speech for the wedding. So he actually worked on that with the speech provider. So I guess they were talking about that to him as well. So then the weekend of the event, he saw us packing. He's like, what are we packing? Where are we going? And then he would tell me himself. I wouldn't have to tell him. He was like, we're going to Uncle Lenny's wedding. And I was like, where is it going to happen? He's like, it's in Pennsylvania, and we're going to drive with Grandma. And he was excited about missing the last 2 days of school because it was actually the 23rd of June. So we were leaving Thursday morning to PA because Thursday evening, early evening, we were having the rehearsal dinner. So mentally, he already knew that we were having a short week. So once we did that, he was just really excited. He's like, oh no, I don't want to go to school, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, but the week is going to be short. We're going to be going to Uncle Lenny's wedding. So that helped him a lot with getting acclimated. And you could hear him in the background. Aiden?
Yes.
Thank you. So that helped him just get acclimated to the whole situation of, missing school and then getting ready mentally to be in another state, which, he loves hotels. So when I told him we were staying in a hotel, he was like, oh, we're going to a hotel and we're going to hang out with Uncle Lenny and we're going to have dinner. So, so when we went to, the day, that Thursday, Wednesday, whatever, I sent him Wednesday with his respite worker to go and get a haircut. That was cool because he knew he was getting ready for the wedding, so he was excited. Then, the day of, he was like, he helped me pick out what he was going to take with him to wear while we were in Pennsylvania. And then once he picked those things, the next day we woke up, whatever, had breakfast, got ready. I went and, Aiden, what did I say? Volume. Aiden, put it down to 10. Put it down to 10 and close the door. Close the door. Sorry, comadres. Back to the topic. So so the day of, we got ready. I let him sleep in. I actually took him to the community habilitation person so that I can go get my eyebrows done. In the meanwhile, so I went and did that. He hung out with that person until it was time to go. Then Mom, of course, left her hair for the last minute. So she was in the city already getting her hair done in the Bronx. Once she was done, she picked us up. We left to Jersey to get her stuff. And then from there, we drove to PA. He's really good with car rides. So he already knew. He had his iPad fully charged. I took a external battery pack, which is one of the things that I said is comes in very clutch when we're traveling, even if it's not traveling abroad, just traveling within the United States, it's always good to have that external battery pack, because you don't know when you're going to be able to actually charge it. And like also when you're driving, you need your phone to be charged, especially if you're using GPS, to be able to get to the location. So having Aiden charging his phone in the car is not always feasible. Mom has like one of an older model of a RAV4, not like super old, but it doesn't have like all those extra USB ports all over the car to charge it. So the external battery pack was like really helpful actually. So it wasn't that far. It was like, it's in the Poconos, and we live in like northern Jersey in Bergen County. So the drive from my mom's house to the place was like an hour and 5 minutes, which was not bad at all. We barely encountered any traffic by the time we got there. It was great. We were able to get him like chicken nuggets that he wanted, so that was fun for him. Then he actually took a nap on the way there, not because we told him to, but he just was like tired, so he like knocked out. So by the time we checked into the hotel, he was like really excited. He's like, oh, are we gonna go to the pool? And I'm like, I don't think this hotel has a pool. So the hotel we stayed at is right off of Route 80. It isn't the most fancy of places. They were very accommodating and they were very nice, but would I tell you guys the name of the hotel so you guys can stay there? Absolutely not. I feel like we could have spent maybe the same amount of money and got an Airbnb, but since it was like a wedding thing and everybody that was going to the wedding was staying in the hotel, I'm sure they gave us a better deal, quote unquote. So I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so he knew we were gonna have the rehearsal dinner, so we got to the hotel. He changed. He was waiting. He was excited because I got him. Oh, and then that's another thing. I knew he wasn't gonna like wearing like actual shoes, so I double checked with my brother whether or not it was okay for him to wear sneakers or shoes. Like he said that if it's okay, that if he's okay with it, that he can wear shoes. Like they were gonna all wear brown shoes. But that if that was going to be too much for him, that he's cool with him wearing some sneakers. So I sent him like a couple of options of which sneakers I was thinking about. We ended up just getting him his favorite, which are the Nike Air Force Ones. Which are, you know, the Uptowns. That's what we call them in New York City. So all white sneaker, very clean, classic, clean lines, nothing crazy. So we got those. So he was excited about, you know, breaking those in. So he wore them for the rehearsal dinner. And then the rehearsal dinner was very casual, very low key. They knew Aiden's sensory stuff. So the place was very quiet. It was actually like a barbecue place. It's actually top rated in PA. And it's part of like this barbecue association. I don't know what that means, but they were like telling us about it and that they had the prize and they were very proud. So I will get you the name of the barbecue spot. My brother, the best man, Albert, he paid for the dinner, but you know, it's barbecue food, so it had like different types of protein, so like ribs and all that stuff, and chicken, which Aiden eats, but there was no rice, or there was nothing really that Aiden could eat as a side. So I did speak to the server and I like explained to her, I was like, listen, my son is autistic. He doesn't really eat all the things that are there. He'll eat the chicken. However, you know, there's nothing that he can eat as a side that he can enjoy. Because like I asked him if he wanted the mac and cheese. I asked him. Of course, I was completely off the table. I wasn't even going to ask. And he doesn't eat tuna salad either. So I just let her know. I was like, do you guys have French fries or anything? Or like some kind of potato? And she said that they did have French fries. And I spoke to the owner. And they were like, okay, sure. We'll make you a side of French fries. So I was like, I'll pay for it. I don't mind. And then the lady was going to charge me, but then the owner was like, no, just give it to her. So that was really nice. So shout out to them for that, because they didn't really have to. Usually people like try to take advantage, especially when it's a wedding, to just make as much money as they can. But they were like super sweet and super understanding. And then the people in the wedding party have been around Aiden since he was a baby, so they know more or less like the sensory issues. They know that he's gonna vocally stim and like make like comments and do the echolalic speech during the ceremony. I was like talking to him. I was like, remember, you know, at dinner where it's like the library, we have to like keep as quiet as possible. So that helps some, but there was like moments that he would like, you know, do the echolalic speech and it was super loud. But then I would like give him the reminder and he's like, okay. And he's like, oh, sorry, Mom. And he'll go back to whispering. Yeah, so that was that. We came back home. We went to, he was cool with like hanging out. He loves hotels. So like as soon as he got to the hotel, he put on some pajamas. He's hanging out in the bed, watching and playing with his cartoons, recording videos. I went with my brother to Walmart that night. I was able to get him like pajamas, which he doesn't really wear. He's usually like a tank top and underwear kind of kid, especially because he has like the boxer briefs. So he likes those shorts that are like fitted. He won't wear like a regular boxer. So he's usually that kind of kid. But I found him some Pikachu pajama pants at Target, and then I got him like golden Oreos, which he loves, as a snack. So that was cool. And then the next day for the wedding, like he was hanging out with my mom. You know, since I was part of the bridal party and I was officiating, I had to be in makeup super early. So like I was up at like 8:30. He knocked out and kept sleeping until the evening, like not the evening, until like late afternoon, I want to say. So he was just hanging out with my mom until it was her turn to do her makeup. And then since the hotel provided breakfast, I made sure my mom got him. They didn't have any eggs, but they did have waffles, which he likes. So I made sure that she went out and got him like a couple of waffles for him to eat, you know. And then like if push came to shove, there was like a Dunkin' Donuts across the street that I was gonna get him whatever it was that he wanted to eat and then bring it back. Yeah, so he was pretty chill in the hotel room the whole time, hanging out with my mom. Eventually it came time to like get ready and head over to the venue. We left like around 12 o'clock. I let him know like the rundown of what was going to happen. So I told him that we were going to get to the place, that there was not going to be a lot of people, that we were going to all get dressed up, that he is going to hang out with the boys, and that we're going to be taking pictures with the photographer. He's like, okay, Mom. So we got to the venue. My sister-in-law's brother-in-law, so her sister's boyfriend, gave us a ride to the venue because we missed the initial ride because Mom didn't know that she was going to be in the wedding picture. So she thought she had more time that she needed to get ready. I was already ready, but when we got the call, I was like, Mom, you need to come too. Yeah, so whatever. So that was like a little inconvenience, but Aiden was cool with like the transition and getting ready faster than what we expected. So we got to the venue. The guys were going to hang out with the guys and the girls were going to be in the bridal suite. That made me a little apprehensive because I didn't know how he was going to react to be away from me and then be like with the boys. So when I got there to the place, I walked him upstairs with the groomsmen, and my brothers were both like, don't worry, we got him. Like, just go downstairs with the girls. We got him. So my little brother had gotten him a pocket square and a tie to match the groomsman, which was super sweet. And he got him a tie clip with his initials. So he felt so special because he gave it to him at the rehearsal dinner. And he was just like, for me, thank you, Uncle Lenning. And then, so the groomsmen like helped him finish getting himself together. So he was wearing the suit and the shirt and the sneakers, but like they helped him like get like all the way spiffy. So he put on his belt, He put on the tie. They got him actually he didn't have a belt. They got him a belt. They put on the tie and the tie clip and the pocket square, so he was looking like one of the groomsmen. And they were just taking care of him for me, and that was really nice. Like, at one point I knew I didn't have to worry, so that was pretty awesome, actually. Yeah, so then after that, like, the ladies were downstairs getting ready. We were already dressed and had makeup done, but we were like doing the photographs. And then at one point they like called us all upstairs, and we had Aiden with us. Aiden was allowed to have his backpack, which was really like great. He didn't want to let go of the backpack at all. So they would like let us know ahead of time, like, hey Aiden, you're gonna take this picture. And then he actually was asking for people to take pictures of him with their phones, which was really funny. It was a lot of pictures, but he hung in there and he was like very cooperative with the photos. Then at one point we were all done with the photographs, and they sent us back downstairs. So I took him with me to the bridal suite. He was just hanging out with the girls. Everybody was actually down there, so he was just hanging out with us for the rest of the time until it was time to go and start the ceremony. So for the ceremony aspect itself, I let him know that mommy's going to be making a speech at the front, that we're going to walk in all together, and that I'm going to walk him to his seat, and then he's going to sit down with Titi Lola, which is my cousin Elizabeth, which was sitting directly at our table. Elizabeth is great because, first of all, she's like the best auntie. But besides being the best auntie, she also has, her nephews are autistic as well, like her sister's kids. So she already knows. I mean, she knew from Aiden how to work with autistic children, but she already knows like more or less how Aiden operates and how to get him to comply and to do different things by speaking to him, because they have that kind of relationship and rapport. So that was like one of the things that we really took into account, especially with the seating chart, who was going to be sitting at the table with us and who we were going to place sitting close to Aiden that would be able to support him during the ceremony. Because apparently, during the ceremony, my mom wasn't going to be up there, so mom was going to be there too. However, I was going to be at the front. Both of my brothers were going to be at the front, and Joel were going to be at the front, which are the 4 people besides my mom that are really great at dealing with Aiden. So we made sure that we had a family member that really, really knew him that would be able to work with him. So that was like the rundown of the ceremony. So once we were done taking pictures, we were trying to get him, because during the pictures he was able to take out the backpack, but at one point he just didn't want to let go of the backpack. And my brother was really great about being flexible on the fly and just kind of being like, fuck it, let him walk with the backpack, it's not a big deal. And also the backpack kind of went with the like colors of the wedding, so it was like a dark orange, and it had forest green in it, so like it kind of went with the color, so it really wasn't that bad. But I really appreciate them making the exception, because I know had it been anybody else, they would have probably had the wife would have had a meltdown, or the husband would have had a meltdown, because it would have quote unquote ruined the pictures. But they were completely cool with it. So we just let him know, like, okay, so we're going to walk down the aisle, and then mommy's going to put you in your seat. You're going to sit with Titi Lola, and then we're going to have a ceremony. During the ceremony, you have to be quiet. Remember, it's like the library. So we kept reminding him of that expected behavior. So, we all did the procession, which is everybody coming into the ceremony after the guests were all seated. Not seated, they were waiting for us to come in. Then I performed the ceremony, which I am not, well, now I am, but I was not a certified officiant. And the reason why I didn't need to be a certified officiant was for the simple fact that my brother and sister had already eloped before the wedding. So during the pandemic, they got engaged, and then I want to say the following year they eloped. I want to say it was like October of 2021 they eloped. But then they decided to have a ceremony because, like, they wanted to like make it official. So I really was like reading a script which I came up with them. They wanted a really unconventional wedding. They didn't want it to be all super stuffy, and they gave me a time limit of like 45 minutes, which I know that besides the fact that it was because they don't want to have this long, boring, extended reception, not reception, ceremony, but they also were taking into account the fact that I was going to be apart from Aiden, and like how long people or he would be able to sit through the entire ceremony. So 45 minutes tops. I actually cut it down, and it went, I think max was like 35 minutes. Yeah, so it was the first time I was officiating a ceremony. We came up with the ceremony together. Everything was so beautiful. We did the opening remarks. They wanted me to lead a meditation at the beginning, so everybody was just centered. So I did that. They did tell me that they were gonna have a chair with my dad's photograph on it, like holding a space for him at the table. And I knew that it was gonna be there, but when I saw that, I completely lost it. So I saw that when I went in, and I was just like super choked up. And it took me like, I want to say like, it felt like eternity, but I know it was like maybe 5 to 6 minutes to get myself together, because it was just like shocking for me. Not so much shocking, it was just kind of like a lot. Like right now I'm talking about, I'm getting choked up myself, but yeah. Oh my God. So during the ceremony, I'm like getting choked up. At one point I felt like I had a knot in my throat, and I'm like, get it together, Marcy. You got this.
We are gathered here today to witness the extraordinary union of two souls.
You got this, right? Mentally. But yeah, whatever. Then after that, the ceremony went off without a hitch. And then at the end, we did the. It's not called the procession. Is it procession? Whatever. When you exit, so we all left together. I took Aiden's. Did Aiden sit at the table? No, I took Aiden with me. So at that point, we went to the back. I got him a soda, which he wanted. You know what's funny? When he sat down with my cousin Elizabeth, he was getting a little grumpy. But as soon as he sat down, he was just like, Titi, I want rice and chicken. So she was like, when I sat back down that we came back in, she was like, girl, Aiden is hungry. That is why he did not want to leave his backpack. And I was like, oh, okay, got you. So thank God the food started immediately after everybody, started getting something to drink. Like they set up immediately for the food. So everything started coming out, and then whatever, everything went really well. So I didn't think to ask Aiden why he didn't want to let go of the backpack. I did tell the speech teacher to write a speech with him. However, nobody communicated with me that he did write the speech, and he didn't mention it either. And me, because of all the rushing, I didn't check his backpack. So I felt bad. He had the speech. He didn't get to say it to them during the event. But he did tell them afterwards. During the
My name is Aiden. I love you guys. Have a happy wedding, and I wish you guys are the best.
During the ceremony, however, I did catch him basically kind of like getting himself ready for the expectations of the wedding. So he was watching an episode of Little Bill called The Ring Bearer, and that's where Little Bill was the ring bearer for Miss Murray, his teacher. So he kept watching it and like stimming and like watching it again and again during the ceremony, during the reception, just to remind himself about what's gonna happen. like I gave him like a time expectation about when we were gonna go home. At one point he was like, I want to go home, I want to go home. And then like I got him soda, I got him things to eat. Once he ate, he was good. He was like hanging out, and then when the music started, he decided he wanted to dance. He was dancing with us, which I posted videos on the Instagram. Yeah, he had a really really good time, and then the where they seated us was pretty strategic, because there was a dancing floor close to us, but the speakers were facing into the dancing floor. So where we were seated, we could hear the music, but it wasn't extremely loud. Also, I feel like the noise level itself, it wasn't that crazy. But Aiden's already used to a certain amount of noise because of the fact that we're a very party-ish family. And my aunt's husband is the one that is like constantly putting the music up, and we're having like these really loud Dominican parties. So yeah, no, like for the most part the evening was great. I gave him the expectation that once they did the toasts and they cut the cake, then that's when we were gonna go home. At one point when he was like really asking me to go back to the hotel, I told him like, we have to party first and we have to, cut the cake and then we'll go home. So he was cool with that. Then I decided to change him out of the button down shirt, because like I tried to like get him comfortable and take the tie off and take off the suit jacket and just leave him with the button down and like fold up the sleeves and open it up. But he's very proper. Like once he's wearing a button down, he wants all the buttons on. He doesn't want you to fold anything or anything like that. So I was just like, okay, so what do I do now? So I told him, I was like, okay, do you want me to switch you into your t-shirt? He was like, yes, mom. So then we did that. He folded his button down shirt himself, folded his jacket and put it in his backpack. And then we found a special place for the backpack, which was like directly under the table under him. And then where we sat him, he was close to an outlet as well, because eventually I think the portable charger died. But the DJ was cool in letting him connect his phone to charge at the DJ booth. And also, like, I was cool with him using my phone as well. Like, anything for him to just be calm and relax. You guys, y'all comadres know how it is when you have a kid on the spectrum, especially when they're like really into technology. Once that phone dies or that iPad dies, it's like you're scrambling. You don't know what you're gonna do. So definitely, I am not anti him using my phone, especially for big events like that. So yeah, so it was a really, really great event overall. I went in and researched a little bit more about how to make our family events more sensory friendly. And it's just, for me, especially with Aiden, I know it's setting that expectation about what is going to happen at the event and how everything's going to go down, kind of giving him an overall rundown of what will happen, and then speaking to people at school so that they can reinforce that as well. So that was the biggest thing I want to say, the biggest takeaway. Also, speaking to the people, especially if it's a wedding, speaking to them about what Aiden's needs are so that they can communicate with the wedding coordinator. And then if it's your own family member, then talking to them directly. Obviously, they've dealt with your child, but like letting them know what those kind of events look like for your child as well. So I went on, was it The Knot? I'll link the article. It wasn't The Knot. It was another wedding website. So basically it says A sensory friendly event is an event that is designed to be less sensory stimulating and overwhelming. The approach often makes it easier for individuals who have sensory sensitivities, like sensory processing disorder, such as those with autism spectrum disorder, that are sensitive to things like noise, colors, sounds, and smells, to participate in social activities and community or professional events. If your event is whatever, it's not necessarily open to the public. If you're planning a wedding and you want to make it sensory friendly, think about those kind of things. So some things that they can do is, some things we can do is think proactively when we're planning these events, ensuring accessibility, talk to the event planner, research accessibility guides, and strategize how we can best accommodate people with sensory sensitivities. I know Aiden didn't need it, but I know that the bridal suite was available to us in case we needed like a quiet area where he could hang out if it came to be overwhelming. So even though we didn't use it, the option was there. Managing expectations with respect to the people that are hosting the event as well as your child, like you need to let them know exactly what's going to happen and what could happen. So just being very clear with communication as a parent and advocating for your child in that way. Okay. And then, like I said, what I did with Aiden, talking to him about the expectations about the event beforehand, so he knows exactly what's going to happen. Another thing, remain calm and flexible. Like, I feel like my brother and sister-in-law, there was some little things that didn't go as planned, but they were so cool about it that it just really, they weren't going to let that ruin their day. I did thank my brother for being so flexible about, letting him walk with the backpack or whatever. He was like, there's no problem. Like, there would be no wedding without you and Aiden. So it was our pleasure to help accommodate him, which was cool. Also, like, letting the people at the venue know, like, there may be changes last minute. So being flexible and calm about it can help other guests feel welcome. Making sure that the art and decor, like flowers and things like that, I don't know how much you can ensure that the flowers won't be like triggering to somebody, but like knowing that there's gonna be flowers, and if that's something that bothers your child, if you can ask to be seated away from that area, or asking to switch with somebody at the wedding. So yeah, having additional spaces like the bridal suite was very, very helpful. There's also other quiet areas in the venue that I could take Aiden to. Even outside, we could have walked outside. Also, I feel like all the event staff that we have worked with people with autism before, so they were very well versed in what to do. So moving right along, some individuals with autism may not respond when people speak to them. However, at other times they may be startled or upset by even the softest sounds. So sudden noises can be upsetting. So make sure that your child has, if they need headphones or whatever accommodation for sound, make sure that they have that, and let the people from the event know that they're going to have it as well. Making sure that the seating arrangements are not like too claustrophobic, I feel like the venue did a very good job of like spacing out the tables. Not everybody was on top of each other, and everybody had their own space. So even though there was I'm sure over 100 people at the wedding, it didn't feel like it was 100 people because of the way that the tables were set up and how the venue was set up itself. Yeah, also letting parents, if either you're hosting the event or you're taking your child to an event like this, making sure you know the menu beforehand so that you can pre-plan if you need to take your child snacks. Because one thing that will definitely have your kid have a meltdown, whether they have autism or not, or any disability at all, or typically developing child, is being hungry. I know as a neurotypical person, once I get hungry, my tolerance level for certain things and certain shenanigans completely drops. So I become a completely different person. I literally get hangry. So definitely knowing the menu beforehand so that you can pre-plan as a parent and have snacks or other things available for your child. Or if you can ask for an accommodation where they serve a dish that your child will eat ahead of time, like that would be important too. Also thinking about lighting in these instances. So, you know, instead of having intense fluorescent lighting, having softer lights. And another way, like let's say that's the fluorescent lighting, like let's say you're having an event at a venue that it's just fluorescent lighting and you can't change that. Hanging fabrics over those lights can actually reduce the intensity. This is what we do in the public schools, especially in the District 75 schools. We used to do that in the classroom. So we would hang like sheer fabric over the lamps to make the lights less intense. Also, another thing about fluorescent lighting, which I don't know if I've discussed on the show before, but fluorescent lighting has like a certain hum to it. So being aware of that and like thinking about how your child will react to it is important as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, designated quiet areas, having a social story. So Aiden provided his own social story, but I'm sure at school they were talking about it and like reading stories about that kind of things there. Bringing your little arsenal of sensory toys or activities that your child can do. So like Aiden likes the iPad, but let's say that he didn't like the iPad, bringing along like a fidget or something like that will help them remain calm during the event. Another thing from the article says like feel free to break tradition. Not every wedding has to follow the same routine. That's why unconventional weddings are becoming the new normal, from backyard weddings to adventure elopements to shortened ceremonies, which is something that my brother and sister-in-law had. You know, revamping and reimagining tradition is important to help accommodate all the diverse needs of the people that are attending your event. And like, yeah, so they repeated being flexible again. Anyway. So yeah, the article is from JuneBugWeddings.com. So I'll link that in the show notes. One thing, for 4th of July, so I give Aiden the option whether he wants to participate or not. But I did get him used to that as like a thing ever since he was little. Like he knows that there's gonna be fireworks and they are loud. Before he used to cover his ears, but he's gotten to the point now. I'll put pictures on the Instagram account, but he knows already that it's gonna be loud and it's gonna be like startling a little bit, but he's gotten so used to it that he actually likes and looks forward to it. So at one point last weekend, which was 4th of July weekend, I was like, okay, we're gonna go to grandma's house. He's like, but I don't want to go to grandma's house. I want to stay home. And I'm like, remember, it's 4th of July weekend. I didn't even remind him of the fireworks, but he already knew. He was like, oh, we're gonna have fireworks and a parade. He gets kind of mixed up with 4th of July and Memorial Day or Labor Day. So I reminded him there wasn't going to be a parade, but he knows that the parade is loud as well. So his expectation already is like, it's going to be loud, it's going to be bright lights, and this is what's going to happen this weekend. So it kind of like made him more excited to go. So, you know, that's what happened. So if Aiden doesn't want to sit outside with us to watch the fireworks, the other option is like being inside the house and watching them from the window, which is less intense. And then if he really needed that additional layer, then noise canceling headphones can be an option as well. The good thing about being in the suburbs for 4th of July is that it's not like here in the city. There's like constant like every like 5 minutes. It's like a certain amount of time, and by like 9:30 it's done. And he already knows that there's not going to be any more additional fireworks. Even though like some neighbors do set off fireworks, but it's nothing like here in the Heights. You know what's funny? The next day I needed to work on the 5th. So on July 4th, we were back here in the city, but he already knows the expectation about what's gonna happen. So I already have like, it's not noise canceling, but it's these. If you look behind me on the YouTube video, I have these what is it? Not light canceling. What do you call them? Whatever. These dark curtains that prevent light from coming into the room. Those curtains actually muffle sound from outside as well. So making sure that you have those kind of curtains up instead of like shears, and setting up the expectation helps a lot as well. Anyway, comadres, we had a very awesome wedding time, and I look forward to doing other things like this with Aiden. You know, I feel like as he's gotten older, it has been easier for us, you know, as time goes on, because like I already know what his reaction is going to be, so I can preemptively hedge against him having a meltdown at the time. Like that food thing was probably going to be a thing, because like I didn't think that there was not going to be rice on the menu because we're Dominican, but there wasn't rice on the menu. Thank God he was flexible and ate like, what was it I gave him the chicken? Oh, it had baked potatoes. So I like smashed together a baked potato, and then my cousin, she had a piece of butter that she had saved from like when they give you the bread at the beginning. So we took we like improvised on the spot. We took the butter and cut up that baked potato into like wedges to kind of make it look like French fries. So we gave him the barbecue chicken with the baked potato, and crisis was averted. But that would have totally been a thing, because the minute he sat down, he was like, I want rice and chicken, to my cousin. He looked her dead in the eye and was like dead serious about that. Anyway, comadres, I am going to finish the episode how I usually do, which is follow me at Comadreando Pod on Instagram and everywhere else. If you have any questions at all, or any suggestions to add to making your events more sensory friendly, or to help our kids prepare for those kind of events, send them on over. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to send me a Comadre-Gram via email at marcy@comadreandopod.com, or slide up into my DMs. Also, shout out LA. They printed an article recognizing yours truly as an innovator and all of that. So if you haven't had a chance to read the article, go on over to Shout Out LA. I will link that in the show notes as well. Please remember to visit our website, www.comadreandopod.com, to read our latest blog posts, find out about future events, and to get your own Comadre merch. Look at this beautiful t-shirt that I'm wearing today. It's a Comadreando t-shirt, which is very soft cotton, very lightweight. For a day like today that it was very humid, it actually was a good choice to wear. Yeah, and thank you for spending time with your comadre. Bye, everyone. Good night.